Still stretching.
Now we're live.
Now we're live.
Now we're live.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of All Aboard. Let's hear it. There we go.
We do that every week now.
I know, right? It's great.
Hey.
just get the LK.
It's better than Adam's voiceover on the intro.
So much better. But don't worry. Listen, guys, we're working on that. But with that being said, we're live again. But before we get started, I just want to quickly shout out to a great Minifan. His Twitter name is Paul in Rhode Island. He's been tweeting about his wife's medical struggles since she's been diagnosed with a tumor behind one of her eyes. And they celebrated their 14th wedding anniversary actually on the same day as my wife's birthday. So it was this past week. And, it really hit me thinking, God forbid, because my wife, without her, my whole family and house and world would just collapse because she's the real power behind everyone. So I'm laughing because she's standing right next to me. But anyway, so just want to wish Paul in Rhode Island the best and his wife a full and speedy recovery. We hope to only hear the best from you, Paul.
Yeah, all the best, Paul. I was not aware of that. I just saw after you told us a few minutes ago. But yeah, good luck to Paul and his wife.
Yeah, Paul. All the best, Paul.
Yep.
I'm gonna, happy wife, happy life. So we hope all the best for her.
Exactly.
That's very serious. I would not want to be in that situation with anyone.
Yep.
Nope, not at all.
Except for maybe one person that we all know.
Yeah, there are some people who
one or two, right?
One or two, but not Paul's wife.
No,
exactly.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, getting back to the fun stuff and moving on from the serious stuff, it has been a hell of a week. We had a shortened week. And actually, we were originally going to have Ted on this week, right, to do the senatorial stuff because that was how this week started. And then we got Mike's news. And while we still do love Ted, and we will absolutely try to get him on another time, it just didn't make sense now. But
I hear he chickened out.
Well, in Ted's defense, as the only Ted defender,
there you go.
He got transferred to his ideal location at where he works, which
nice.
I won't name. But
Yes,
it's Home Depot's biggest
No
rival, and he went to a most favored.
You literally just talked him.
That could be any big box store.
So
I mean, listen, his name is out there.
I didn't say his name.
Good thing you're his friend. Imagine if you were not his friend.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. I would say it rhymes with toes.
Jesus Christ, man. Hey,
No,
moving on.
Can you mute that?
Moving on.
But in all seriousness, he got his dream job. He has a new schedule.
Awesome.
So he started, and it's good for him because he's now much closer to his home. So
Awesome.
good for him.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Yeah, and all kidding aside, like we're not playing this fake campaign anymore. No, that's great. He messaged us and say, "Hey, I'm moving," and we were supposed to record on Thursday instead of coming live.
Right.
So that's why he couldn't do on Thursday. And then we decided to change a little bit the topics anyway. But we'll definitely have Ted in the upcoming weeks to talk, not about Senate campaign, but about Ted, the real person, and hopefully he'll bring some interesting topics, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll wheel them right in. And
That was awful.
That was terrible.
Awful.
It's terrible.
Leave the notes for that, please.
But starting with all that, that really does connect it to Mike's major milestone, and I think it's been talked about on a number of other shows, and we talked about it on the main show. But I guess where we can input our 2 cents, I guess, for lack of better terms, is what were your thoughts about the fact that he didn't have everything set in order and ready to go before he made the decision? Now, I think my take might actually shock you guys, and LK, you look excited to discuss this, so I'm going to pass it to you first.
I mean, I tend to be organized. I tend to try to plan things in advance. And when you were talking about such a major event like that, I would have to like my shit, all planned out, right? Especially when that involves, telling your boss, taking a leave of absence. It's a major thing for him. Getting help and making sure he has his ducks in a row. I would have planned before telling my boss that I would leave and not even signing up for a class. I think, I don't know what he was thinking, but I would definitely be freaking out if I didn't have things already lined up before, going. Whenever I need to have a serious conversation with my boss, I actually rehearsing my mind for many times. Possible scenarios, questions, how the conversation goes. And I cannot imagine telling my boss, hey, I'm going to take a leave of absence to treat something that is very important without having planned it already. So to me, that I cannot think about it. No. How about you, Ned?
Well, also it depends too, and we don't really know the full details, but is he on the Barstool medical plan? Because this is probably covered by insurance. If he's not, and it's not, this is going to be a big out-of-pocket expense unless he can find some aid. Number one. Number two, we all love Mike and we all want the best for him. But I can't get past the conversation months ago with Carano, or with Matt Carano. Sorry, Carano. Yeah. Where even though big deal was made that he worked in an eye doctor's office, whatever, but he knew what he was talking about. And I still don't know if Mike has actually had a full diagnosis done about what his absolute prognosis is. That being said, it looks like he's making the next move just to go to get some help as a fully blind person, fully disabled. I did find it relatively amusing that Kirk said he would not allow a seeing eye dog in the studio.
I mean, were you surprised?
I was surprised that he didn't have it set up. No, I was absolutely surprised. I'm like, this sounded like a snap decision. And I really don't believe that he went the next day to this place. I think he probably started working on getting to the blind center near where he was. Where is it, Perkins? Do we know where he's going?
He never
announced it.
He never did say, okay. Yeah, we don't want to dox that place.
242, Ned. 242.
But I wouldn't.
That's on the roll day.
But I wouldn't. But I would think that he wouldn't have anything set up. This kind of all came about when Steve just crushed him.
Yep.
Well,
inadvertently crushed him.
But that's actually kind of where my take comes in, because I completely agree with everything. Like, I also like to overthink everything and have everything planned out in advance. But it clearly hit him over the weekend, and he decided instead of spending the time on the show, which he said himself, he's like, this is already impacting my work on the show. So instead of spending the time to get it set up while still doing the show, plus having the show as a distraction. I mean, you could easily see a situation where 2 weeks from now he's like, oh, I've just been so busy with the show, I haven't been able to do anything, etc. So I'm actually impressed and kind of happy that he said, okay, I need to just take a clean break and make sure I get all this shit in order. And I assume that he's still going to be in classes when he comes back, and that it'll be things that he goes to after the show, after they're done recording. So I really don't have an issue with the fact that he didn't have it all set up. I just, and also, by the way, Ned, just to respond to something you said, he did say on the show that he went to the specialist, and then he was supposed to have some follow-up meetings, follow-up appointments, but then COVID-19 pandemic, lockdown, everything went out the window. Now, I'm sure, though, he could have gone, that was 6 months ago. But
how many times can you use this excuse? Come on. But here's one thing that I would like to clarify. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have gone for help, or he should have seek treatment. I think it's very commendable. I think it was time. I think it may have taken a lot of courage from him, because I don't want to pretend like I know what he's going through. It's very tough. But so I'm not judging the fact that he went and seek treatment. I'm judging the fact that he didn't fucking plan before, triggering all the rest, which is like talking to your boss and going for the leave of absence. That's my only point, and that's what I'm focusing, because I want to make fun of him. Like, we all love him, and it's fun. But all of my support to him. I hope he can get some guidance, he can get some help, and come back strong.
Yep. No, I completely agree with that, and I think all of us probably agree that all of us do agree that we're all hoping for the best for him, etc. For me, Marcus is tangent number one. For me, this is I know, right? This is a little bit of a personal thing. I'm not going to go too far into it, but I have one grandparent that I never met. My maternal grandfather. He's actually I'm named after him. And by the time he was in his late 40s, early 50s, he went completely blind. And so, he really accomplished a lot of great things afterwards. He designed clothes, he designed linens, he ran a pharmacy as both the owner and the head pharmacist. It was really just an incredible amount of things. So I'm very much rooting for Mike, and I want to see him really just take this and run with it and actually succeed and know that there's still a lot of great things you can do.
I'm gonna wear my Manners hat here. Did he ever see you, or did he get blind before?
He got blind. I told you, he's the only one I never met. He 364 days before I was born is when he died.
I think what LK was trying to say was,
I know.
Seeing you.
Oh, I know what LK was saying. I know exactly what LK was saying.
The huge disappointment. But anyway, like I remember when I was planning to come to the US the first time in 2004. I put so much planning in it, and it's like it was like a 6-month, planning. Like, how am I gonna save money? How am I gonna quit my job? What am I gonna do when I get there? How long can I stay there? I came as a student, so I couldn't work, do anything, just so I had to basically save money.
Yep.
So it was like sell my car, make sure, I knew where I was gonna stay, the school and all that, and I just cannot understand it. Just taking a decision like that. And, I know that in life, not everything you can plan, but this is a major thing, right? It's not like, hey, let me go to Thailand, spend, 3 months there, enjoy life, take a sabbatical. It's different, so I just wish he had planned a little bit.
No, and that comes from the fact that he probably has not had like some sort of professional training or guidance in that regard. And he did go to school, he did go to college and got his degree, I assume. But the three of us have been out in the business world. So LK, just exactly what you said is what I've been doing for 30 years is when you're going to talk to your boss or your boss's boss about something pretty serious, you run the scenarios through your head. You plan everything out.
Every single step.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I feel better now.
No.
Yeah.
He's also just completed a move. Now, it's not a major move, but he did move his apartment, from one building to another. That
Moved
takes
in with
planning.
his girlfriend. That's
with his
major.
girlfriend. You would think that something of this magnitude he would have given some thought and planning to. So I tend to agree with you guys that yes, this all came about kind of at the last minute, and he didn't really think it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, listen, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, first of all, I agree, LK and Ned. I'm the exact same. There is not a single question that I can be given that I will not have pre-planned. But for me,
you're a PR guy, right? You have
exactly. Whoa. We doxing again?
But how many times have you said that? Come on.
Sorry, I'm a little sensitive tonight. What can I say? I think that you said it right there when you were talking about the fact that it's Mike, and I think that really is summed up more by less by what the way he handled this, and more by the fact that he was given pre-warning from Steve from Providence, and he still didn't have one single joke prepared. If someone at work said to you, or anyone said to you, hey, I think you're going to be, here's a heads up, you're going to get put on the spot at this upcoming meeting, blah, blah, blah. Whether they're joking or not, whether you have no idea, I mean, are you not at least going to make sure that you have, at the very, listen, I think all of us would agree that we'd have a lot more prepared, but would you not at least come with 1 or 2 talking points?
Correct. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, I don't want to be beating him to death. It was funny. Him bombing at Saco was good. So it is what it is. Maybe that was Kirk's plan to just put him on the spot and
I think
him fail. And that's the funny part of Mike.
2 previous shows they did a really good job covering it as well. So
yes, agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. All right.
Next topic, Adam.
Yeah, time to move on. I think
is there anybody else
talk about California wildfires, right?
California fires.
Let's talk about what's going on there, and with a little, curveball on how the fire started last week, which is like the fucking what was it? The gender review party, right?
Just to clarify, it's one of many of the fires. There are a ton of different wildfires. This is just one, but it's a serious one. And we were planning on talking about it, but they actually ended up talking about it on the show anyways on Friday, I think. But yeah, it was a gender reveal stunt that involved pyrotechnic, and it went horribly wrong.
Hey, before we go deeper into the wildfires and gender review, is gender review going out of control? Is it becoming so mainstream that everyone is doing it and it's not fun anymore? Like, what's your
Going?
take on that?
Going, or is it already long since been there?
I know. Like, what's your take on this?
So I'll just say personally, I've never done a gender reveal. We actually never found out the sexes of any of our kids, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the world I live in, but I don't know anyone. None of my friends have done any gender reveals. It's just Kirk said it best. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody other than your immediate family actually cares. And if you want, I listen. I know plenty of people who've done like, "Hey, we're having a boy," put that on Facebook, or like a picture of like of themselves with their announcement and put that on Facebook or Twitter. But I don't know. I just the whole appeal doesn't get to me.
Justin, if you're there, can you play the video that I sent you?
And Ned, this is the first time you're watching this, so we're excited to see your reaction.
Please.
This is in Saudi Arabia, to give everyone a little bit of a heads up. And for those listening on the Minifan RSS feed, that is.
Are we sure it's in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, we're gonna put a link on that.
She should be dressed better.
It's true. There's a countdown being blasted onto the world's tallest building.
It's not Dubai.
Oh, it might be Dubai. You're right.
The tower in Dubai.
Yep.
I've been there.
Hey, what the
And
fuck?
there you go. It's
Look
a
at the guy's
boy.
reaction. Look at the guy's
Mazel
reaction right
tov.
now. But the guy is holding the girl, right?
Yep.
The little
All right,
girl.
Justin, you can kill the video. I mean,
It's totally like the guy's probably a millionaire, right? To do something like that. Billionaire, right? But his reaction, like holding the little girl and see it's a boy, he's like, yeah! It's basically throwing the girl, and like, now I have a boy. It's unbelievable.
Ned, what are your thoughts? If you've been there and you that was your first time seeing it.
He does not look like an Emirati. That the ones that I know. Usually they dress in the traditional garb. So he's obviously someone though who's spending the weekend there from another Arab country, maybe another emirate. Just totally over the top. But so is Dubai. I tell people Dubai is Miami on steroids. You think Miami is flashy? Miami is superficial. Dubai is Miami on steroids with a shitload of money. When you have Arabic mosaic tiles, hugely expensive in the U.S., are the highway borders between the lanes. It's like, holy shit! The cost of this highway is billions of dollars. So they're very over the top in excess, and the whole vanity again, the vanity and narcissism of the gender reveal. Kirk said it best. Nobody gives a shit except the parents, the grandparents, and maybe the siblings, brothers and sisters of
so
that's it. Nobody cares.
We did gender reveal with my son, and it actually was a funny thing.
Ned looks so disturbed right now. I love it.
It's like crucifix. Oh my god.
Like my wife got pregnant, and we didn't want to know the sex.
The wonderful Mrs. LK. We all love her. She is great.
And then my parents wanted to know. My in-laws wanted to know. So we basically, have a little tangent here, right? We got married just town hall, and then the year after we planned the big party, and then home. Mrs. OK got pregnant, so she was pregnant during our ceremony. And what I told everyone was like, hey, we did the test, the ultrasound and everything, but we forgot home. Meanwhile, I had the test with me, but I said that. So the whole story was like, hey, I forgot back home. Unfortunately, we won't be able to review the gender. And then during all the ceremony, after we got married again for the second time in 2 years, I got the envelope out of my suit and say, hey, sorry about lying to my parents, my in-laws, but I have the results here. And then we open, and then it was such an emotional thing to see the gender, and I was basically speechless because I was talking, and then I was all of a sudden I look at her, I couldn't say anything, so she grabs the microphone out of my hand and say, it's a boy, and then the whole part So it was kind of cool,
Yeah.
but that was 4 years ago,
Right.
more, almost 5 years ago, and it was something nice
Well,
for my
knowing
family. I don't think I would do again if I
Right.
had another son or another kid, but and I don't know, it was trendy back then. I wanted to do something different in the middle of the wedding ceremony, but all this like pop the balloon or cut the cake, and I mean, if I do something, it needs to be something different, not the ordinary.
the knowing the gender before delivery, is fine. I mean, we have the technology to do it now. Before, it used to be the old Italian. My family was either the old Irish or old Italian grandmothers with the wedding ring on a string circling over the pregnant woman's belly.
Listen, we do the same thing.
Yep. So and also, with both of my kids, I didn't want to know about the first one. My wife did. But it turns out it was good because you could prepare the nursery, the bedrooms, what you need to buy beforehand. So it's helpful in that way. But my kids are like 28 and 30. The idea of having a party, my dad would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, I would never do anything fire related, right?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, listen,
related.
that's and that's the thing. That's where we've gotten to the point where it's the new Keeping Up with the Joneses. It used to be, your wife wanted to make sure that her wedding was the best of all of her friends and everything was the most beautiful. And all we wanted, and I'll speak for myself, but I think I can assume you guys also, is, we just wanted to make sure that our wedding had the best booze of all of our friends. Yeah. But, and that's it. I mean, it's who can do the craziest thing. And not only do you just end up sometimes looking like a jackass, but to do pyrotechnics, and clearly they didn't have everything planned. They didn't think about the weather, where they were, have it all tested. And
why, Adam? Because they only thought about themselves.
Correct.
This was not about the baby. This is about, look at us. Aren't we great? We procreated.
We want to go viral.
We did one of the 4 things that human beings have been doing for a billion years: shit, sleep, fuck. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yep.
Yeah.
So listen. One of my daughters is going to be getting married in November. I'm looking forward to having grandchildren. Luckily, we raised sensible kids, and they have no intention of having any type of gender reveal. They actually, neither one of them, when they do get married, the other one as well, they're doing it very low key and low cost. Thank you, baby. Thank you Daddy. Thanks you very much. For not spend any money.
Very much so.
Very inexpensive. Of course, it's not going to be religious. So I'm a little upset about that. But they will not do. They're like, we're gender reveal.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But they're both like sensible. They're not going to do that shit.
But I think the California thing, right? They wanted to go for the big thing. Like, let's make a big explosion in California, middle of the summer, and see what happens.
And they wanted to go viral. And obviously they
cool. And
they
we get it on Instagram, and we post it up.
Right.
And all of our social media platforms would see it. It would be great.
Yep. Exactly. Now, here's my question. So 10,000 acres already as of the end of the week. I haven't checked the stats tonight. 10,000 acres from this one. This one expanded to over 10,000 acres. That's countless of public damage, countless area of private damage. There are 23 deaths right now in the that have resulted from the wildfires. There's from all of them, plus countless other issues that people are having. So
2.2 million acres are burning right now. 2.2 million across 5 states.
For what is associated back to this stupid stunt, at what point does that become, are they? Do you think they should be liable for it? If someone dies from this, should they be charged with it?
Absolutely. If they can trace it back, I'll jump into this one. LK, sorry. If there is a death or even property damage that results from this pyrotechnic display, they should absolutely be held. I'm not
agree
a big
100%.
and suing and whatever, but this was not an act of God. This was not like a lightning strike. This was not an accidental campfire. Even that I'd be kind of forgiving on. Yep. This was someone who vainly and recklessly lit off pyrotechnics during a drought or during the peak wildfire season. Stupid. And unlawful. Probably unlawful too, right? Did anybody look into see if they were breaking
that? I don't know.
California law with the fireworks?
I know it's just like I was Googling for what causes these wildfires, and there's 3 main reasons, right? Climate change, that we can partially control, right?
Yep.
It's not a California thing. It's like
Yep.
the whole world, but it's man-made, man-inflicted, right? The second one is wind, right? That we cannot control. You know, something catches fire and then the wind just blows and like fucking spreads.
Especially when it's in dry air.
Exactly. And the third one is man-made. Right, it's the fucking like cigarette butts and the gender review parties and homeless camps that I didn't know. I didn't know, but there is a bunch of homeless settlements across California.
Yep.
That probably is not in the big cities, right? Because if it's in these dried areas, that causes fire. So out of the three, one is certainly man-made. The other one is half man-made, right? So 1.5 out of 3 is because of us.
Well, and the other thing too is, and one of the things about Trump that really pisses me off is, I'm very much in favor of conservation and preserving the natural wonders of this country. And the Forestry Service used to have the funds to, and I'm not sure how widespread it was, but they used to do a pretty good job in maintaining the undergrowth and clearing the undergrowth to limit, you can't prevent, but to limit wildfires in the West. And the funds were cut. I don't know, if it was me, I'd take prisoners and put them out in chains and have them do it, like Cool Hand Luke, go ahead and work it out there. But the wildfires are an annual event. They are spread. Right. Look at Australia. Look at Menners. Right. I mean, last December, if you guys remember, we were chatting with Menners, and the wildfires, his sky was orange where he was in his Sydney suburb. So but
that's what I'm saying, right? I mean, there are things that we can control. There are things that we cannot control. But the things that we can control, we should be, on top of it to make sure that this doesn't happen. Correct. And I was actually reading that the native vegetation and stuff from California is actually being replaced by grass and moss and all that shit that easily catches fire because the fire is happening so frequently that the native vegetation that can sustain this kind of fire cannot catch up. So it dies, and then new grass comes, new shit comes that can easily catch fire, and that's why this stuff is happening more and more frequently.
Wildfires are also a natural not fertilizer per se, but they're good for growth. Trees. Yep. But as you said, okay, so frequently, year after year after year, the same acreage is burning. Whatever little is there is just burning away. So it's something that has to be dealt with because it is getting out of control. Absolutely.
And I just quickly Googled some of the most recent stats, and just from quick job of that is 13,592 acres are burning as of yesterday. And as of a few days ago, from this one, this is the El Dorado fire, and as of also a couple days ago, over 21,000 people have been forced to evacuate from this fire. So all because some selfish prick had to, try to make themselves feel better about themselves with that. But speaking of feeling better, guys, you just destroyed the greatest segue of all time. God, come on.
Yes.
Killing me, Smalls. Yeah, seriously. No, go.
No, I was going to say, it goes back to your point. They should be held liable.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, speaking speaking of feeling better about themselves, vaccines, guys, we're the vaccine world. I know, Ned, you have a lot to say about the COVID vaccines.
I know, that was the worst segue ever.
We get scolded for stepping on that segue?
Fuck yeah, because, you feel better when you're vaccinated and you don't have the COVID-19.
Man, shout out to Billy Big Time that's on the chat, saying that Ned and I are awesome and you suck at him because
I don't. I just listen. I responded to him because he was talking about fighting a Ned Ripple, a Ned Wright, and doing spin kicks and eye stabs. I
think it's bad when we start going to the.
I completely agree. Anyways, my apologies.
For instructions. So COVID-19 vaccines. The big news this week was that AstraZeneca, which is a British-Swedish pharmaceutical giant, in phase 3 of testing. And phase 3 testing, for those of you who don't know, I am a doctor, so you can take everything I say verbatim.
Dr. Ned.
Dr. Ned, Dr. Snark, that's right. Gynecologist. The phase 3 testing, in all seriousness, is a broader subject field. So you're looking at tens of thousands of subjects that are being tested. This is where the sideways sort of side effects, the weird side effects will come out. In those ads you see on TV, they have this medicine, and then they'll read you the side effects, and actually the side effects of the medicine are worse than whatever you have to treat that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they found something in a lab that they use for testing in the UK. So they put that on hold, and so did many of the others, including, like, say, Abbott Labs, and Pfizer have also put a halt, not because they found any abnormalities, but they're seeing what comes out of this AstraZeneca test.
Hang on. I'm going to interrupt you for a second, because that isn't completely true. So I know Pfizer has not gone on hold, and AstraZeneca actually, insert breaking news music here,
came off.
They resumed tonight, but
didn't interrupt me.
No. But I just wanted to say that Pfizer didn't go on pause. I don't know about Abbott, but I know for sure Pfizer did, because I have some notes on that.
I'm pretty sure I don't know about Pfizer. Well, I do know about Pfizer, but we'll table that for later. But I'm definitely sure about Abbott. But yeah, I saw that before we came on tonight that AstraZeneca is resumed, I guess, testing in that lab.
So here's the thing, right?
But here's the thing, Adam. Let me just finish this. Okay, the U.S. companies,
yes.
Abbott Labs, Pfizer, I think Johnson & Johnson is also in either stage 2 or stage 3. They are racing to get this out before the election.
Correct.
The European-based companies, whether it's Sanofi or AstraZeneca or Moderna, are saying next year.
Yep.
So we've got two different races here. One is definitely politically driven.
So I'm actually just gonna put a quote out there, because it literally it's perfect for what you're saying right now, Ned. The Merck CEO Kenneth Frazier said, quote, "I know there are a lot of public voices talking about when vaccines will be ready, but the fact of the matter is you can't rush science." So you're right.
Exactly, and that's what the World Health Organization said. Hopefully this serves as an example on why we cannot rush this kind of things. Correct. It's lives involved. It's the first time they got something wrong out of the test, and there will be many more. So we cannot rush to a vaccine.
That we know of, LK, because the two vaccines that have been approved, one is from the Chinese Military Institute of Medicine.
That I will never take.
Bingo. And the other is from, oh God, we should have Tim from Canton on this. But the other one is from the Russian Ministry of Health.
Yep.
So do you really want to stick anything in your veins or stick them in your children's veins from those two organizations? No, absolutely.
Well, not only that, the Chinese one is a nasal spray. One of the ones that they're testing is a nasal spray.
Yep. So here's the thing with Pfizer. So Pfizer, and they are, probably, truthfully, right now they're leading the race.
Yes.
So they have come out and said that they will most likely be the first in the U.S. to seek regulatory approval for a COVID-19 vaccine, submitting it by mid next month. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. So they have this vaccine. Let's say everything works perfectly. Let's say it goes off without a hitch. Let's say it's approved for immediate use without any, it actually works. It's not just a political ploy, right?
Sure.
Here's the problem. And I was reading an article about this, and it's that their issue is going to be around distribution. So right now, their vaccine cannot be stored in the refrigeration systems found at a standard doctor's office or pharmacy. Instead, it requires a special ultra-low temperature freezer that can store medicine at approximately 94 degrees below zero. The delivery system is very complex, requiring the use of a
Celsius?
Fahrenheit.
It's 70 degrees, minus 70 Celsius and minus 20 Celsius. There's two different.
And so the delivery system requires the use of a custom-built cool box that can store about 1,000 to 5,000 vaccines for up to 10 days. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but the second you start telling me about these cool boxes, I'm just jumping immediately to Theranos, and I just assume that this is another fucking, whatever her name is, that crazy lady with the blood that started Theranos. But I mean, that one. But this is just, I mean,
Steve Jobs wannabe.
Yeah, exactly. What? It doesn't matter if you create the vaccine if you can't actually create a vaccine that you can give someone and that you can actually have at doctor's offices.
Not only that, I was reading. You probably were reading the same article, but it's not only the cooling problem. It would require about 8,000 airplanes to distribute to the whole world, and Ned works on this, so he knows more than anyone else.
Yeah, because he's a doctor,
it would require
so he works on the creation of it.
almost 3 times the whole entire fleet of cargo airplanes in the world to distribute that. So it's a logistical problem that whenever the vaccine is ready, it's gonna take forever for everyone to be vaccinated, and obviously countries with more money will get that first. So it's I'm already convinced and psychologically prepared that this whole year the kids will be at home studying at home. There's no way they're gonna go back to school. No way.
Okay.
And you heard that here first.
I did a double doxing. I got to be careful.
Cancel it.
Yeah, seriously.
So I'm going to be very careful.
Cancel.
But this is like what I do.
Who are we doxing now?
No
Well,
one.
you-
Myself.
Yourself.
This is what I do.
Perfect.
Well,
perfect.
we're lucky that we don't have a lot of listeners, but you've said you worked with
Listen,
that.
there's only 9 people watching us live now, so we're good.
Good one, Alec. That was good. Thank God no one's watching. So,
Yeah.
the vaccines that are coming out right now are going to be shipped deep frozen, as you said, 70 degrees Celsius. The only way to move that right now, the only thing capable is dry ice. Dry ice is actually pretty good at long term. I mean, you load as much dry ice as you need for the time of transit. So when it gets from a laboratory onto a truck to an airplane to a truck to it's going to be distributed. Once you have the distribution point, you do have most vaccine centers have deep frozen facilities. So the end is it's just a matter of quantity, not like they don't have the technology yet. They do have it. So the problem is the containers to carry these, as you said, these cold boxes.
Yep.
So there is TCM technology is non-dry ice technology, which can control the temperature of something inside the box for up to 96 hours. That's the newest technology, but it only goes to 20 below. It can't go below to 70. So we're stuck with, at least in the first wave, and there's going to be 2 waves of vaccines. That's the other thing that I don't know if you guys have seen that, but you're going to need 2 shots from the same manufacturer.
Yep.
So if you get an AstraZeneca shot, 6 weeks later, you're going to need a booster from AstraZeneca.
Yeah, good luck managing that.
Exactly. So there is not enough of the containers to handle, and there's two sizes. There's not enough global containers to handle the amount that they're expecting to ship at once. That could change. And there is not, as you said, okay, there's not enough air freight capacity globally to handle the volumes. Oh, and by the way, we have new iPhones coming. We have new coming. So everyone is competing. Amazon has recently purchased more 767 freighters. They have now a huge fleet of aircraft. One of the largest in the world now, freighter operating aircraft. I'm dying to get a job there, by the way.
Hashtag
What's up, Amazon? Hook up our friend here.
Logistic God. But the concern is not the concern, but one of the options is going to be the government could not nationalize. That's too strong of a word, but all aircraft have to be registered in the civil aircraft service, so that in times of crisis, the U.S. government can requisition aircraft from every airline. American, Southwest, JetBlue, Delta, United, everyone, including freighter operators.
Wow.
So you might find that, and it could be the thing that helps the airlines too, by the way. Don't factor that.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
The PPE money ends September 30th. So a nice cash injection from the government for securing vaccine won't be bad, but
Yeah, but I'm thinking that we'll probably get a vaccine that can be released to mass population sometime February, March next year, and that means massive, flu season in the northern hemisphere, where people are gonna get sick again. A new wave will come.
Yep.
It's gonna be a fucking disaster. Meanwhile, China will have 0 cases. Right?
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah, of course.
Flu. Well, first of all, LK, you said school. So I think I've said this before. My kids are actually in school. So they're in person. But
you're contributing to the spread of virus.
Well, no, but here's the thing. So in 2 weeks, there have been 4 kids that have been sent home from my daughter's class where they have to Zoom in. There have been 3 teachers at the school that have been sent back to Zoom. And there have been 2 kids in my son's class and a friend of my son's. And I know I told you both this separately. I love both of your reactions. But there was a kid in one of my son's best friends was sent home because he went to the nurse and complained about a headache. He didn't have any fever. He didn't have any other symptoms. He just had a headache. And so he went home. So he got sent home and he had to go 24 full hours without any symptoms. So he got sent home on a Tuesday. He wasn't allowed back in school until Thursday. And the mom, and rightfully so, she was like, what are you going to do throughout flu season when other things happen? You know, like kids are going to have sniffles. They're cold. Like what are we doing here? And then
have you had any?
What was that?
I don't believe, dude. My kids were never inoculated for the flu. Do you have your kids inoculated for the flu?
Yeah, we get flu shots.
So, Adam, have you had any confirmed COVID cases in your kids' school?
No. In my kids' school?
Yeah.
No, but there are people who these are all people who have been in contact with, but there has not been anyone in the school who have confirmed. However, there are schools, other of the Jewish day schools in the area have had confirmed cases of kids in the school, and that's sort of where it's starting to spread.
So if someone in your school, any kid in your school get COVID, do you think they're just gonna switch to online?
As of now, they're saying it'll take 2 separate cases, 2 unrelated cases, to shut the school down for 2 weeks.
You want to set an over/under right now?
I mean, well, listen, Israel just announced that in the upcoming Jewish holiday season, or as I like to say, the Jula days, it's back to lockdown because they've had a massive spike. And I have no doubts whatsoever that we are going to have a spike after the holidays. Basically in the next few weeks, we have the holidays. Ned, what's up?
I don't.
You'd be shutting down though, since Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur follow pretty quickly, like within 12 days of each other. Is the school just gonna take a break?
So the kids don't have school anyways during the entire holiday of Sukkot, which is 8 days. So I mean, that's sort of why Israel, for example, is going into lockdown now, because it's like, well, it makes sense. But I think that there is, I really think there's going to be a shutdown of the school for a couple of weeks, either in the middle of the holidays or at the end. I think it would be great if they could do it maybe during the holidays, and I know that just from people that I know, they've been talking about it. But just without any cases, they're not going to do it. So who knows?
Yeah, but I don't want to screw with your enjoyment at the moment. But I think before the end of the year, your kids are going to be back online, and it's going to be hard to justify. It's a fucked up situation. I keep flip-flopping, or if it's just the flu or not. I think it's just the flu, but the long-term, consequences on a child that we don't know.
Yes,
it's what worries me the most.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yep.
So there's a couple of things though that might help, but again, in this country, politics plays its hand in everything. But if you just look at it strategically, and I've been on some very high level conversations with the government agencies about this. The first receivers of the vaccine will be those who are most vulnerable, old folks, those 60 or in nursing homes or with preconditions that make them susceptible to it. That could be younger people too. So they're going to get the first wave. But okay, you're absolutely right. If I had children who were of age where they were going to take the vaccine or not go to school, I'd find a way for them not to take it and get a doctor's note. If my company says you have to take, by the way, I'm expecting my company to demand that we take the vaccine. I'm going to get a doctor.
My religion doesn't like vaccines. So
listen, I am a very much believer in vaccines, but I guess No. Standard. Yes. Listen. My attitude is, if I'm not going to buy the first generation of an iPhone, why would I inject myself with the first generation of the other thing? However, I was also talking to a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he and his wife, who's a nurse, are both signed up to be potentials for an upcoming trial around here. So they're, sort of he got me thinking. But no. But so here's the thing. I just have one last question about this. All right.
Wow, that was good. That was fun.
Go for it.
It was a good one.
That was fun.
Go for it.
It's the doctor of veterinarian. No, sorry. Go ahead.
One of the articles I was reading was talking about how they assume that the vaccine will be very much like the flu vaccine, in the sense that it's going to be about 50% effective. So
50, more like 10%. But okay.
It has to be more than 50% effective for it to be released.
Listen, I don't know I don't know any of that. But here's my question: is if what are your thoughts on whether or not the vaccine should be? I guess then, Ned, that's the question: is should the vaccine be released if it'll be 50% effective? Is that enough to make a difference? Is that enough to help slow the spread? Is that enough to help people in general? I mean, what are your thoughts about it?
It's not immediately. I can't get it quickly, but I did have it. The New York Times actually had a pretty interesting article on categorizing the stages.
That's an
of the
oxymoron.
vaccine. I know, right? No, it was actually quite good. I was actually kind of said the same thing. And the companies that are doing it, and one before it can be accepted for release and approved, it has to be more than, I think, 55% successful. So once you get out of stage 3,
Right,
it has to be more than 55% successful. But I need to verify that. But no, I'm not going to take a vaccine. I mean, I don't take a flu shot. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
don't,
smoke.
I don't either.
I'm old. I'm ancient, and I smoke. And it's like,
Yep.
I'm not going to take a flu shot. I'll get the flu, and I'll get sick, and I'll be fine.
yeah.
I mean,
sorry.
and it's not like buying.
I lived a great
It's
life.
not like buying over-the-counter
Don't leave us,
medicine,
Ned.
right? You don't know the label. You don't know what you're
Right.
getting. They
Yeah.
don't tell you the ingredients of the
Yep.
of the vaccine. I'm not taking this without knowing if it's gonna kill me or not.
And you look, I'm not anti-vax at all. I should put
Yeah,
that.
me
Make sure,
neither. Yeah.
right?
None of us are.
Kids were all vaccinated. I was
Yep.
vaccinated, no problem.
Yep.
But my religion now told me I cannot.
But I think we know too, when you've done some reading lately on vaccines and how they've come back in the news, not just this COVID one, but it's the delivery mechanism of the vaccine that could be causing problems with the recipients, whether it's kids or whoever. So it's not the vaccine itself; it's the delivery around it. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the chemicals, but whatever they have around it to make sure that it goes to the system effectively.
Yep.
That are causing problems. Some of it's made with low levels of insecticide.
Yep.
So, and this is a Channel Zero topic, but there we go. Speed it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's not the one I was
Justin
looking
is
at, but
the
that's
best
close.
producer in the game.
Yeah. So there is, we got to be careful on getting this into our system, and we absolutely cannot allow China or Russia to put anything in our veins. Anything.
Oh, yeah.
No, listen, I
Absolutely.
completely agree with that. I'm also, so, I mean, I guess from my perspective is, well, I think that 50% is good, because I think it's effective enough to, minimize, to help the healthcare industry, to help make it so that the spread gets slowed down a little bit. My fear, though, is, and this is actually why I had this argument with a lot of people about the antibody testing, where I said that, why would I want to know if I had the antibodies? Because if I know I have it, then I'll probably be a lot more reckless than I would be now. And if I'm getting something that I know is a 50-50 shot, I will probably be like, all right, well, I'm sure that I'll be one of the 50% that it works for. So let's do it.
Well, Adam, one of the things, thank the Lord for your religion that kept you away from both Saco and Madawaska, was that TJ Hubbard knowingly infected all of us in Madawaska. So I'm convinced I had it, because I got sick about 2 weeks after.
I've beat Corona three times already.
Yes. However,
it was like 1 day Coronas, but I got it. I'm absolutely,
But pre-Saco, my company just gave us a credit to go get the antibody test.
Yep.
So I went and had the antibody test with my wife, $10, no problem. Came back negative in 3 days. And I'm like, that's impossible, because I was really sick with a flu I've never had before in February and March.
Yep.
But then we find out the antibodies wear off.
Yep.
So why we even now have the damn antibody test? Why even test if you're not sick?
Right. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Overreaction.
Listen, I agree, and I say, you know, I think we've sort of talked this through at this point. I have one last question. Ned, what were you drinking before?
Oh, I had just finished the last of my American honey wild turkey with the
very nice.
Helps the pipes.
Very nice. Well, I think that, and also I think LK wanted to mention what he was drinking and shout out our sponsor.
New sponsor tonight, Red Bull, sugar free. Red Bull gives you wings, you know, 100% taurine, very good. Will keep me awake the whole night. Kept me going all night.
Speaking of not knowing the ingredients and putting pesticide in your body.
Exactly. Red Bull and awesome. Redbull.com/Kirk.
There we go.
Go get your discount.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Always a pleasure. And thanks again, Justin. And we're good to go.
Thank you.